Hello everyone and welcome to Crafty History Suncatchers. My name is Shoshana Frank. I'm an adult services librarian here at the Naperville Public Library, and I am so pleased that we will all get to learn a little bit about the history, background, and how to make our very own Suncatcher. Thank you for joining me today. So what is a Suncatcher? Well, it is considered a decorative piece of glass, mineral, or other object which is hung in a window to bring in and disperse the sun's rays. But what does that actually mean? It means that Suncatchers can be made in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and with as many different types of material as you can imagine. You can think about it as an optical equivalent of a wind chime. So there really is the sky's the limit when it comes to creating or enjoying Suncatchers. So let's explore Suncatchers a little further. They were first believed to have been made by Southwest American Indians as a way, again, to catch the sunlight. This evolved over many, many years into so many different forms, from the things that we know today of glass, beads, and plastic. It also helped develop the idea of stained glass windows, whether it's in your own home or in churches. And my personal favorite, Suncatchers are often used in science experiments to learn about the light spectrum, because you can really see how light is refracted within crystals and other materials used traditionally in Suncatchers. So where is the best place to hang your Suncatcher? Obviously, the first choice would be by a window so that you can get that lovely sunlight, but you can also put it in a dark corner or a narrow hallway in your home that doesn't get a lot of light, because it'll bring in color and enjoyment for your overall home. Of course, you can put it up over a desk or work area to help bring in some positive energy. But really, you can hang a Suncatcher anywhere your heart desires. So now that we know a little bit more about Suncatchers, like I said, very briefly, let's go ahead and get crafting. For today's craft, from home, you will need scissors and a small cup of water. If you got one of the craft kits, you'll see we provided a wooden stick, colorful string, and beads. But one of my favorite things about Suncatchers is you can literally make it out of any type of material. So you can upcycle different materials that you have in your own home. You can use all kinds of different things, whether it's beads or glass or plastic, in order to create a beautiful work of art. All right, so you can see here I have my scissors, my stick, string, my bag of beads, and my cup of water. The first thing I want to do is look at my bag of beads and evaluate how many I have, and maybe consider a plan of action for how I want to string my beads together, what beads I like connected or not. So you'll want to go ahead and do that with your own bag of beads. Once you evaluate your overall beads, you can look at your stick and decide, do you want 5 rows of your string, or 3 or 4, more than that? As you can see here, I've started with 2 strings, and I'm planning to add 3 more. The other thing you want to consider is, do you want to have your strings loosely beaded like mine are, or do you want it completely stacked with beads, or do you want a combination? As I said earlier, there are a huge variety of ways that you can make Suncatchers, so each creation will be unique and different, just like the creator who is designing it. So the way that we'll actually go about putting together these strings is, for each one, we'll choose kind of how long we want our string to be and cut it to that length. Once we have it the length that we'd like, we'll wrap it 2 or 3 times around the stick, tie a square knot, which is right over left and left over right, in order to properly secure it to our stick. Then we will string the beads onto our string, So on each string, I like to do a double knot under the beads to ensure that the beads keep their spacing and it looks pretty when it is hanging up. If you are doing full solid beads all the way down, you don't need to worry about doing a double knot after each grouping of beads. You'll just want to make sure that you've knotted it extremely securely at the bottom of your string. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I have my string, you can see here, and I am going to cut it to the approximate length of what I am looking for. You all should have plenty of string, so you don't need to worry about being super precise, but you do want to make sure that it's that you leave enough. So you want to plan it out a little bit. So I've looped my string around, and I have right over left and left over right. And I've tied my square knot. So I have a couple beads that I'm going to be adding to this string. In order to thread the beads, I'm taking my string, and this is what that cup of water is for. I'm dipping it in the water and then creating a nice point for my beads to be strung through. Now I'm gonna just kind of make a pretty design with the beads that I have chosen. Part of what I like about these beads are some of them are see-through, some of them are glass, but the best part is they all will make noise. So if they, if you happen to have them by like a fan, or if you decide to put yours by a window that you open in the summer, the breeze will potentially make your Suncatcher also a little bit of a wind chime, which is pretty cool. So I am tying my double knot underneath where I want these beads. It's a little farther away than I wanted, so I'm going to tie another one. All right, so you can see I've tied my first knot. I have my first little grouping of beads, and they are staying in place. So now I'm going to choose a couple more beads and add them on next. So I showed you how you can wrap the string on your stick and then add the beads. You can also add your beads to your string and then wrap it onto your stick. It's totally up to you how you would like to do it. If you're going to have your beads built onto your string before you add it to the stick, just make sure you don't lose them on one end or the other. Periodically, I like to hold up my Suncatcher to make sure it's looking the way that I would like it to. And if I'm not overly happy with it, or if I'm looking to add a little bit more pizzazz, I can go ahead and do that without having to worry about undoing anything or if it doesn't look right. Because the best part about these Suncatchers is the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. After you've created your final Suncatcher, I would love to see pictures. Please feel free to post them and tag the library's Facebook page. It's the Naperville Public Library. We'd love to see all of your hard work. I know I enjoy seeing other people's creativity because it often is so different from my own. While you are crafting, you do want to make sure that you leave some excess string because we are going to be using this string to do the finished product of making sure that we can hang this up in our homes. So once you have your Suncatcher the way you'd like it, you can trim off any excess string with your scissors. Once you have that finished, you're going to take the remainder of your string and you will use it in order to hang your Suncatcher. So the way you can think about it, and it might be helpful if you have another person to help you with this, but we'll see. I'll show you how you can do it all by yourself. So you're going to use your string as the hanger, and you kind of want to consider how tall you want this to be. You can see I kind of have it laid out nicely there. So just like I did adding the strings of beads to the stick, I'm going to take it and wrap it around on the outside of the stick and then do again my square knot of right over left and left over right to put it on my stick. And you can see my stick is coming apart a little bit, and that's okay. It's from the outside, so sometimes when we bring outside inside it falls apart, but you can just kind of brush that off. You can see I have one side added, so I'm going to add by wrapping around a couple of times my other side. And you can kind of twist your string so that the knots holding your beads are pointed down and the knots holding your handle are pointed up. So you can see I now have my completed Suncatcher. Thank you for joining me today on Crafty History Suncatchers. Here's my finished Suncatcher. I can't wait to see all of yours. Until next time.